In this episode, we're talking about how to advertise your business on YouTube. It can be confusing because there's so many different options, so many different ways to market and advertise. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of a lot of different methods. And depending on your type of business, by the end of this episode, you'll know which is the best type of advertising for you. Now, if we take all the different types of advertising, we can break it into two different categories. Is it paid advertising or is it organic advertising? So let's look at the pros and cons of the different types of advertising in those categories, paid versus organic. Then when we have that understanding in place, we can look at specific types of advertising so you can know how to advertise for your business. So let's first take a look at paid advertising. And there are a lot of pros of paid advertising. The first one is that you have immediate visibility. As soon as you turn these ads on, they're going to start getting views, you're going to start getting clicks, and you're even going to start generating sales, perhaps, right? There might be some testing and tweaking along the way, but as soon as you turn them on, you're getting views right then. They're also scalable. So when you start getting results, you can just increase your ad spend, and that increases things very, very quickly. So you can scale with paid. There's a type of targeting called short tail targeting where you can target keywords that are 1 word or 2 word or 3 words long. So it allows you some type of targeting there. You can also target by demographics. So depending on the platform, whether it's Google or Facebook, they have a lot of data about their audience. And so you can target different age ranges, different career types, different locations in the world. Now let's get into some of the pros that really stand out to me as really advantageous. So fast iterations. That means that you can make tweaks and changes really, really quickly. And that allows you to do split testing very, very easily. So you can create 2 different landing pages and send half the traffic to one and half the traffic to the other and learn really, really quickly which one is better. You can test different headlines on your ads. You can test different videos. You can compare 2 different colors and see if one color works better than another. So this allows you to really fine-tune your funnel. So if you're going from an ad into a landing page to some type of offer to a conversation with them, you can see what type of ads and what type of landing pages will make the highest percentage of people get to that conversation. And one other feature I want to mention as a pro for paid is you can very quickly and simply understand the return on your investment. You're putting this much money in ad spend and you're generating this much revenue here, and you can understand that really quickly and have a clear picture. So some of the cons of paid advertising is the cost. In the first several months, you can burn through a lot of money. Now that can be worth it because you're really fine-tuning your funnel, but typically you're not going to be profitable in the beginning. And over time, as you scale it, you're going to be putting more and more budget into it. So it can be a very expensive way to advertise. So my colleagues brag about their ad spend, $400,000 a month. I even had a conversation this week with somebody that's spending $1 million per month on ads. Now, if your revenue is above your ad spend, okay, so you've got some margin there and you know if that's a good business or not. But what's scary about that high of a budget is ads are temporary. Ads have a shelf life. There's ad fatigue. So your ads aren't going to perform forever. You've got to create new ads and you've got to find new audiences to market to. So there is a complex learning curve. You've got to really master the art of advertising. And so this learning curve is helpful because you're creating your funnel and you're fine-tuning it, but it does take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of focus and a lot of your attention. And now through all this work and effort, you will generate leads, but the leads that come through paid advertising like this are considered very low quality leads. Okay, so compare that to a referral. If you have a client and your client recommends a friend of theirs to you, so now you meet that friend, that's a very warm referral, a warm introduction. There's already a relationship of trust there. But when you get a lead through a paid campaign like this, they're very low quality leads. There's no trust yet. Now let's talk about organic. Okay, let's look at the pros. Organic can be very, very cost effective. Most importantly, because it's evergreen. When you create something that ranks at the top of YouTube or at the top of Google, if you follow the strategy that I teach to get there, it's going to stay there for years and years to come. I've got videos that I created a decade ago that are still ranking at the top of YouTube, still generating ad revenue, but most importantly, still generating leads for that business. Now, we talked about short tail targeting with paid. Well, with organic, you can go after really long tail targeting. That means you can go after really, really specific topics and questions. So this allows you to really get into the head of your target audience. What are they thinking? What are they asking? And speaking directly to those people about their questions and their concerns. And you're doing it in a way that they don't feel like they're being sold to. They search you out. They feel like you're there helping them. You're answering their questions. And so it works really well to build a relationship. Now, organic is very momentum building. So compared to paid, you have a campaign that you pay for a month, and then that campaign is done. So you start a new campaign the next month. Well, with organic, all the work that you do in month 1, that keeps going. And so the work that you do in month 2, you've got 2 campaigns running. Then the work you do in month 3, now you've got 3 months worth of campaigns. They just keep adding on top of each other. I mentioned building a relationship a second ago, but it deserves a point of its own. Organic really does well at building a relationship of trust. So you can create content like YouTube videos and have those videos building a relationship with people on autopilot. So when you have a conversation with them, let's say you have a Zoom call, they feel like they already know you, they already trust you. And we also talked about the referral quality leads. The leads that you get from organic are like referrals. So that's why a lot of times people will start with a paid ad campaign and fine-tune their funnel, but then they'll launch organic, and once they have a lead flow from organic, they'll turn off paids because the quality of the leads is so far superior. What are the cons of organic? Well, time. It takes a lot longer. You don't just get instant results. YouTube and Google are a gradual momentum building process. Now, you do build that momentum and it eventually will exceed the results that you're getting from paid, but it requires patience. Now, depending on the way you look at this, this can either be a pro or a con. The pro side of where I say searchable topics only is you can find the questions that your target audience is asking. But there's a lot of topics or terms that you might have coined, and you teach the influence principle or something like that. Well, what if nobody is typing in what is the influence principle? Like if you just made it up. So there's a lot of jargon that you know that you want to talk about, but people aren't searching for it. They don't know those terms. But what you can do is get into their head and figure out, well, what are they asking? What challenge are they facing? If I teach a principle or a method, what does that method solve? And you can search for that, like the questions or the challenges that people face, and then teach them that method. Now, another con that I'll mention is less volume. If you want your videos to go viral, that's a high amount of volume. But if you focus on search, you're not going to get high volume like that. You're really limited by the number of people that are asking those questions. Now, it's extremely valuable, and you can make one video and have that be an SEO strategy, and you'll get a little trickle of traffic. But then you create another video, and now you've got 2 trickles of traffic. You create 10 videos that are organic, and you get 10 trickles of traffic. What about hundreds? Eventually, all these trickles of traffic add up to a big fire hose. So as you're considering what type of advertising is best for you, the pros of paid advertising in the beginning and really being able to fine-tune your funnel, those are very strong. And so often I recommend that people will do that. Now, it's never too soon to start organic. Organic on YouTube is way easier than organic website SEO of the past. I used to have a website SEO service and it stopped working about 12 years ago. And so I phased out that part of my company 12 years ago. SEO today is called content SEO. You can't do website SEO anymore. It just doesn't work. But content SEO works extremely well, especially on YouTube. So imagine you create a funnel, a landing page, some type of offer, and you're sending paid traffic to it, and you fine-tune that funnel, while at that same time, you start an organic campaign creating content on YouTube that will rank at the top of YouTube. So you start pulling in these trickles of search traffic and sending those people to that same paid funnel. And when you're generating enough revenue from those leads, you could turn off your paid ads. Now, one thing I want to mention about the organic content is you don't have to be promotional. In fact, I don't want you to sell in these videos. These videos are answering people's questions. They're giving value. And so people aren't on the defense. They are there willingly. They asked a question and you're providing the answer. So it builds a relationship of trust. Later, when they visit your website, that's when they're going to see your logo. That's when they're going to see your branding. They might find a promo video there. And they're expecting to find those things. And so it's just a great way to build a relationship first, and then to start having that sales conversation. Now, with all this understanding done about advertising, I really want you to understand my leaf strategy and how you can get your videos to rank at the top of YouTube. I've created another episode. It's called the YouTube SEO Secret Strategy. I'll link to it right here. I highly recommend you go watch that video now.